Thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's much appreciated. And for those of you that haven't subscribed yet, only take you a second. Hit the notification bell as well and give us a like too. And don't forget to share the channel. Yeah, I'm getting everything out there right now. It's nearly Christmas, isn't it? I mean, I've got my fire going here. I've got a nice little Christmas tree. And trying to make my office a little bit more cozy for the cold times ahead. And that's what I want to talk to you about. How cold can it get? Well, it's important that we talk about the economy. And as you know by this channel already, we don't just talk about low content books or long form or short form books or novels or anything. We cover all kinds of things related to self-publishing. And I think that's an important point. And so we're looking at the economy now. Will it affect our books? Now, for a lot of us as self-publishers, we depend on Amazon. We may use the KDP platform. We'll use, Barnes and Noble Press or Lulu or other platforms to get our books out. But by far, Amazon sells the most books. And that's where most of our customers come from.
We are in some tough economic times.
Yeah.
Some people say that perhaps we're already in a recession. Do you think that we're in one? And what is your advice for small business owners?
I don't know whether we're technically in a recession. I know economists argue over that and they have certain technical definitions. What I can tell you is the economy does not look great right now. Things are slowing down. You're seeing layoffs in many, many sectors of the economy. People are slowing down. The probabilities say if we're not in a recession right now, we're likely to be in one very soon.
Now, that was a little clip from Jeff Bezos, who owns Amazon, and who started all this online book selling really en masse. And he's with his partner, Lauren Sanchez, and they're talking about the economy. And they're talking about, are we in a recession or not? Yeah, it's we're in some form of recession, aren't we? People are struggling. And yet at the same time, houses are being built, well, especially around here where I live in Cheshire. They're flying up all over the place. They probably are all over the United Kingdom. Wherever you are, maybe in the US or Australia or anywhere, houses seem to be flying up. And they use a lot of timber. And that's the point here. Where's all this timber coming from? Now Russia has the biggest land mass of forest on Earth. But China is the biggest producer of timber, followed by the US and Canada, and so on and so on. But as with any recession or hard time that we come across, timber, it becomes very expensive, if not hard to get. And it's a supply and demand thing. The more people want it, the higher the price goes. It's one of those things. So where are we getting the paper from? Well, a lot of it's recycled. When it comes to pages in a book, we like nice white paper, and a lot of that isn't recycled. So what do we do when there is a shortage? Is there going to be a paper shortage? Well, there was a toilet paper shortage in 2020, and so it seemed. At least everyone was panicked into buying lots of toilet paper, reams of paper for their offices and for printing were selling out all over the place. So how does Amazon secure enough paper to deal with our books? Well, it struggles. It buys up everything it can in advance. There's an interesting little part here on Amazon's sustainability website. Oh, I've just noticed my fire's stopped. That's no good. It's not very live, is it? Fire went out. I thought I felt a chill. In the US, we expanded the use of our recyclable paper, padded mailer, replacing nearly 70% of our mixed material bubble mailers in 2021. We have also improved the composition of our single-use plastic packaging to use less material and incorporate more recyclable content. In 2021, we increased the recycled content of our plastic film bags from 25% to 50%, and that of our plastic padded bags from 15% to over 40%. I mean, they're doing what they can by the sounds of things. I mean, stuff has to get out there. And, you know, more and more people, since 2020, at least, when we were hit by the COVID. Now, you can blame COVID for the oncoming recession or the hard times we may be having. You can blame COVID. You can blame Russia. You can blame Ukraine. You can blame NATO. You can blame whatever it is that you're going to blame. But the end result is that it's not going to stop. Your blaming isn't going to stop a recession, unfortunately. And that's if we're heading into one. We're already in some kind of recession, surely. So cutbacks are going to have to be made. And as Jeff Bezos says here.
So my advice to people, whether they're small business owners or, you know, is take some risk off the table. If you were going to make a purchase, maybe slow down that purchase a little bit. Keep some dry powder on hand and wait a bit and see how. Try to reduce some risk in your business or your life.
Well, you tweeted batten down the hatches. Mm-hmm. That's what you mean by that?
That's what I mean. If you're an individual and you're thinking about buying a new, you know, large screen TV, maybe slow that down, keep that cash, see what happens. Same thing with a refrigerator or a new car or whatever. Just take some risk off the table. If you're a small business, maybe delay some capital purchases. Do you really need that new piece of equipment? Maybe it can wait a little bit. Have some cash on hand. Just a little bit of risk reduction could make the difference for that small business if we do get into even more serious economic problems. So you got to play the probabilities a little bit.
It's important to take the risk off the table, and that's what he's telling businesses to do. Small businesses, large businesses. You know, stop buying extra machinery right now if you don't need it. Stop buying the fridge freezer you don't really need as a consumer, a customer. It's easy for Jeff Bezos to say, obviously. You know, there's no shortage of money there. I heard it was, a few minutes. Within a few minutes, he could buy not touching his money, he could buy a new Lamborghini. So it's very different for people like that, but at the same time, they know what's happening. They know what's happening in the market. They know how to forecast the market, and you should really listen to them when they're telling you to hold off buying things. Because don't forget, they're selling things. And for someone to actually tell you to hold off buying things, yeah, they might be saying the big screen TV and all that, and you might not buy a big screen TV or a fridge freezer from Amazon. But that's not really what they're saying. They're saying, well, that's not what Jeff's saying. He's saying, hold off if you can. Now, how does that affect our books? Well, again in 2020, there was a paper shortage, wasn't there? There was, as like I said, there was the toilet roll problem. And packaging, when it came to egg cartons, they were cardboard, then they went to a kind of a foam or a plastic, or this crackly plastic that makes a racket and wakes everyone up in the morning when you're trying to cook your breakfast without them. Flour bags, all kinds of things that previously used cardboard or paper to wrap things in were now plastic and of some sort, whether it's recyclable or not. And that's the way the trend's gone. We're using more plastic than before. So there is, in fact, a paper shortage, or it's at least hard to get hold of for the right price to keep the prices of products down. So are we going to be affected by this? Well, yeah, we are really, but thankfully the price of our products are quite low. You know, we're not selling things for hundreds of dollars. You know, we're selling things for a few dollars. And that's better for people. So they may hold off on the bigger products, but they may still continue to purchase the smaller products. They may stop going out and doing a lot of things they would have done before, the holidays and everything else, and maybe even stop doing all the renovations that they were doing before. Maybe a lot of the renovations have been done, that blitz has happened, and people can afford to buy the smaller items, especially around Christmas time. Like now, we're also probably seeing, a lot of you are probably seeing, lots of sales with your books. And that's usually the way it goes up until a couple of weeks into January or so on, where people are still getting their orders. And I don't think at the moment that that's going to change for the worst. I think we're still going to be able to sell our books because, like I say, the price is low, as long as we can keep getting the paper. And I think Amazon have reserved and stored a lot of paper. They have their hands on that kind of thing well in advance because, like I say, these people know what's coming and they'll do everything they can to keep their businesses ticking over. Will Amazon actually reduce services in certain areas of Amazon? No doubt. But I don't think it will affect us that much. I think we'll still be okay as authors, as selling our products. So I don't think we need to panic just yet. But like any recession, people cut back. And, you know, we may see some cutbacks in that department, but not enough, I don't think, for us to lose our businesses. Our outlay is very, very low. Now, okay, if we've got an office to run like this, then okay, we've got electric, we've got all the equipment that we need, the computers and all the bits and pieces. We've got the time, you know, that we could have been doing something else and earning other money by doing a part-time job. Or, you know, a lot of writers don't just write. They have several income streams, some of them. And yeah, you can understand why, because it's not that easy, especially people who write novels or just the odd book once a year or something like that. You need something else coming in. You need it, especially if you're not well known or not known at all, as most of us are. And so, yeah, I wouldn't panic just yet. I would watch the markets. I would listen to Jeff Bezos because he knows, doesn't he? He knows he's got to keep his business running. He's talked about giving all his money away at some point. I don't know how Lauren feels about that, but I'm sure they'll do all right, and I don't think it will be all his money. I think it'll be enough for them to retire on, that he's got left. But will his business fail with it? We've got to keep hoping that Amazon keeps trading.
You know, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
No, as he said there, hope for the best, plan for the worst, or prepare for the worst. And yeah, you know, you've got to take that on board. But that's life in general, isn't it? You know, that's without a recession, that's the way a lot of us think, and that's the way a lot of us prepare. So let's all try to be optimistic. I'm sure we'll be fine. And Amazon's not about to fold anytime soon. And neither are a lot of the big retailers and book producers, print-on-demand companies. Now, a lot of people want Amazon to fail. You know, that's obviously not us as authors, but a lot of people want it to fail. And it's a shame, really, to say, oh, it's, you know, uses cheap labor and all this. And there's a lot of people who are quite more than happy to be working for Amazon. And if Amazon does fail, millions of businesses all over the world will fail, and all their employees will lose their jobs too, who haven't got anything else to go to. However, whether it's minimum wage in certain jobs or not, in certain parts of the company or not, they haven't got anything else to go to. Millions and millions of businesses sell their products online all over the world through Amazon. Keep checking back. There'll be, like I say, there'll be all kinds of things that we talk about on my channel, all related to self-publishing, all related to how we get our books out, how we earn our money. And hit the notification bell, like I say, and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you.